Hi everybody, Judy here. Today we're talking about cantaloupes and how to select the best cantaloupe that you can that's available to you and the best way to store it once you get it home. When you're out shopping for a cantaloupe, there's several things that you can do. You want to look for one that's heavy for its size, it's nice and firm, and you want to look at the color of it as well because you want it to be kind of a golden beige color underneath that netting that's on the outer area of it. There should be little to no green underneath. Now, I don't know about your area, but in my area, it's hard to find a cantaloupe that meets those criteria. But at any rate, that would be the ideal cantaloupe to choose. Another thing you can do is to try tapping on the cantaloupe itself. If it sounds dull and kind of deep, it's an indication that the melon is actually ripe. If it has a higher pitched sound and it sounds hollow, then the cantaloupe is probably not ripe. Also, you can take the cantaloupe and press your thumb or your finger on the top end. This would be the end where the stem was attached to the cantaloupe. And if it gives away just slightly, then it's nicely ripe and not overripe and not underripe. It's just right. If the spot at the top gives way a lot, then the cantaloupe is overripe and it's not going to last very long, and you may or may not want to buy that one. If you want to eat it right away, then it might be okay for you, but it is going to be extra ripe. If it doesn't give at all, it's not ripe and it's probably not going to have the best flavor no matter what you do. And while you're checking it out, also check it out for bruises and cuts and dings and that sort of thing. And you want to avoid the cuts in particular because bacteria could get into the flesh through those cuts, which could make you sick potentially. Another way to tell if the cantaloupe is ripe is to give it a good smell, particularly at either the stem end or the blossom end, the opposite end of it. Give it a good smell. Get up close and personal with it. And if it does not have any smell, then it was picked very early. It's not ripe at all. If it smells sweet like a cantaloupe should smell, then you know that it's good. You want to avoid any cantaloupes that are very soft and overripe. They're past their prime. They're not going to last you long unless you really want it that way. But for the best flavor, you want to try to find one that's ripe. Now, here's an important point for you. Cantaloupes will not continue to ripen up after they've been picked. So if they're picked extremely green, they might get softer along the way and turn a little bit more of a golden color and get softer and a little juicier along the way, but the flavor is not going to improve. Okay, so you want a cantaloupe, if possible, one that was grown locally to you so that you know that it was picked on the ripe side. Okay, if it's been shipped a very long way, chances are it was picked very green, and it's not going to have a really good flavor for you. So there's a big difference there on that. If you just want to eat cantaloupe for eating it, you can allow it to sit on your counter and it'll soften up some, but I can't say it will ripen up some, so the flavor is not going to improve a whole lot. When you get your cantaloupe home, you want to store it whole and unwashed until you're ready to use it. If it is not soft and you want it to soften up some, keep it on your kitchen counter for however long it takes, but just watch it carefully because it can get soft and you don't even really realize it, and then it's not any good at all. Again, it might get juicier and softer, but the flavor is going to be whatever it is based on the stage at which it was picked. You definitely do not want to wash it until you're ready to use it. Why? The extra moisture that's left on the rind will cause it to possibly rot and get moldy, that sort of thing. When it's ripe, if it's ripe, when it's as soft as you want it, then you can put it in your refrigerator and store it that way. Of course, once it's been cut, then you definitely want to store it in the refrigerator. If you have a store-bought cantaloupe, it's not freshly picked, and so you want to use it as quickly as you can once it gets as soft as you want it to be. Try to use it up within 3 to 5 days of that point if you can. If you have a cantaloupe that was freshly grown locally, maybe you grew it yourself or maybe it was grown by a local farmer, it's not as old as one that was shipped a long distance, and it might keep for you as long as 2 weeks. So it just, how long it keeps depends upon how long it's been since it's been picked and at what stage it was when it was picked. When they are ripe, you want to put them in the refrigerator for the longest shelf life. If they are not ripe and they are not soft, keep them on the counter for a little while until they soften up some for you. I do hope that this helps you out. This is Judy at Judy in the Kitchen. Bye for now.